Hello, Namaskar viewers. I am Sanjeev Pandya welcoming you to this week's edition of the Business Talk right here on ITV Gold. This show, the Business Talk, brings you the business news from all over the world, so that way you can be updated. And sometimes the business news that you may have missed, we make sure that we include it in this show, so that way you are updated with all the business news that you need to know. The show is brought to you by SAI CPA Services, a full-fledged complete accounting firm located in the state of New Jersey. Multiple locations in New Jersey, but they can be reached from anywhere in the country. Just give them a call at 908-380-6876. Visit their website, saicpaservices.com, to see what kind of services they offer. Something must be related to you, whether it's a taxes, personal taxes, corporate taxes, payroll, bookkeeping, accounting services, virtual CEO, virtual CFO. They can all make it possible. SAI CPA Services, been in the business for over 25 years and helping out clients all over the country and in India as well. With that note, I'd like to welcome Mr. Ajay Kumar of SAI CPA Services to the show. Good to have you, sir.
Thank you, Sanjeev, and thank you for the kind introduction. In our show, in this weekly show, we bring the news and we analyze it for you. The news that you can use. That's our motto here.
So what's in the business news?
Well, a lot of things are happening and it's a weekly show. Let's start with that everybody is talking about.
Stock market.
What's happening in the stock market? What's going to happen in the stock market? And what impact is it going to have on the economy or in the long term, where exactly it's heading?
And in their 401ks.
Absolutely. Everybody in the country, whoever has the 401k directly or indirectly, they're all invested into 401k. A lot of retirement funding, IRA, 401k, all sorts of SAP plan are invested into stock market. So knowing where it's going, you can plan it properly. You can plan it right, especially if you are at that age where you plan to retire in the near future, in next few years, you have to be extra careful. So stock market is coming back up, but it's radical. It's not going up continuously. So we see last week it was down, this week it was back up again. So a lot of things are contributing to this behavior for the stock market. Not only we have unrest throughout the world, multiple countries are fighting with each other. We have extremely high interest rate. We have an economy that's continue to heat up. The inflation is pretty high. So all these factors are going against each other. Last week, gold rate was lowest in the last 6 months. So a lot of these things are not adding up. You expect the gold rate to be high when the interest rate is low. When the interest is this high, you expect the property prices to be going down. But when you see everything is heating up, that creates a situation when federal government starts increasing the rate. Stocks market starts behaving erratically. So right now, our recommendation is keep what you have in the stock market. Stay away from it. Don't make too many changes in your portfolio.
Keep it the way it is and look in for the long-term interest.
Absolutely.
Long-term benefit
planning
instead of short-term benefit. While we are at it, Disney stock is doing well. Disney is up 3%.
Disney stock is doing well. Their
Yes.
quarterly targets, they beat the quarterly targets. Their quarterly revenue and EBITDA turned out to be higher than what they were expecting. They're planning to increase the rate. Apparently, Disney have multiple channels,
Yes.
Some paid channels, some free movie channels. So in general, this whole industry is moving to a platform where a lot of new movies are coming directly to these online platforms. So if you remember, 20 years ago, we used to have Blockbuster. Then the time came for Red Box. You could rent the movie for $1,
Yes.
as opposed to going to Blockbuster and giving $5 per movie. But nobody knows Red Box. Those boxes are out. Nobody cares about Red Box, or Blockbuster is completely out. You don't really see the shops
Because of
anymore.
OTTs.
Because of the OTT platforms.
Yes.
So a lot of in the near future, the next thing is when you will not have a lot of movies being played in the theaters. A lot of new movies will come to the OTT platforms directly. So things are changing, and companies like Disney, they are agile enough to change their, it used to be just a park. They were being very selective in the movies. Then they did some acquisition, and now they are a big entertainment industry by itself. Park is just a small part of Disney's portfolio.
And there'll be more changes coming up.
Absolutely.
That's what Disney CEO Bob Iger has announced. So there'll be more changes coming up. While we are at stock market and the price is high and inflation, let's bring in this story that first time in 13 months, in the month of July, just now last month, inflation was record high.
And that's amazing. If you think about, if you take a step back, when the federal government is increasing the rate, increasing the interest rate, this is all to curb the inflation, and you find the inflation is still high. The CPI last month in total was 3.2%. If you leave the food items out, the CPI was 4.7%. Federal government wants the inflation to be under 2%, simply implying the market is too hot. The federal government has to take more actions, more restrictions needs to put on, probably more rate hikes needs to happen in September or in coming months before this whole economy can be cooled down.
Well, it's going to be a while. I mean, obviously in September there's an anticipation that the rate's going to go high. So next couple of months, all you need to do just keep it quiet, simple, let it go. It's not going to be a very strong recession or depression. It's going to be mild recession, but it's going to take.
It may not start up until next year.
Correct. I know, but it's going to start building up from October,
right
November,
now,
December.
For our viewers, cash is the king. You want to preserve the cash. You do not want to be using up the cash. In the near foreseeable future, next 6 to 9 months, make sure you have enough cash to survive.
All right. Talk about cash. One of the institutions, banking institutions, been paying a lot of cash as a fine. I'm talking about, and this time that institution is not the only one, but several financial firms have gotten together to pay $555 million fine because this several Wall Street firms, they have admitted that employees use WhatsApp and iMessages for business communication in violation of record keeping rules.
Absolutely.
And that is a big fine.
And surprisingly, Wells Fargo is a repeat offender.
Yeah,
we have seen a lot of penalties paid by Wells Fargo. I mean, this is not Wells Fargo only.
This is like billions of dollars they have paid already in a different
yes,
fines.
I mean, for a company like Wells Fargo that deals with a lot of, they have a lot of assets, over $100 billion. But still, penalty is penalty. Nobody wants to pay penalty. Nobody wants to pay millions of dollars in penalty. We are talking about $555 million paid by multiple banks for using unsecure messaging engines. It could be WhatsApp, iMessaging, and they have accepted it, that against the Security Exchange Commission policy, and they have agreed to have written policy that all business communication has to be done properly through official channels, not through texting. Some of these representatives were accepting documents through chat system, which is not secure, which is against the violation of the security policy that the banks have to follow.
Exactly. So now it's a Wells Fargo. Then there is another firm called BNP Paribas. These two are the main ones, and there are several small financial firms. They have agreed to come up with the $555 million.
Absolutely.
So that means employees cannot use their phone, WhatsApp, and iMessages.
No, they can for their personal use. Nobody is stopping. You cannot really have the client communication.
Okay, that's what I meant. For client communication, you can't use the phone. But nowadays, cell phones have become common for even clients to get in touch with the account holders.
Yes, they are. But the system is not there yet. A lot of this communication is not secure. Let's say if you are sending a file to the CPA, by mistake you can click here and there, and this file, your social security number, your information,
so it's a privacy
is
issue.
Sent out to somebody else. Not by you, could be from the CPA, from the company.
Correct.
So they have to follow certain rules when it comes to the security, for the client's protection, for the general public's protection, and using the chat engines, WhatsApp, iMessaging, and a lot of other chat engines is not approved as a client information tool, client interaction tool.
But emails are approved. So how different emails are than this WhatsApp thing?
In theory, I'm glad you asked. In theory, emails doesn't have the attachment. You should not have the attachment with the email. Email should have click here to go to your portal where you log in and retrieve the information.
Correct. Okay.
So if you are sending the information to a client portal, even if by mistake you send this email to the wrong person, they wouldn't be able to retrieve it because they wouldn't know the login password for the client portal.
Okay.
So that makes email a little safer than chat engines.
So even though this much of an easy access by WhatsApp or iMessages, right, it's still not approved by the federal
not yet
rules.
Just because there is no controlling around it. The system is not able to control what you can do, what you cannot do on these chat engines.
Okay. So the only conversation over the phone is allowed.
Phone conversation is allowed.
Phone
you cannot
conversation is
have
allowed.
the instructions accepted over the phone. You can't really say, can you make this transaction for me? And
Right.
then somebody made the transaction and then said, you told me so. All the transactions have to be in writing.
Okay, interesting. Anyway, let's move on. And this story, as I remember, Ajay, ever since we've been doing Business Talk Show right here on ITV Go, this has always been a part of it, and it has to do with the mortgage rates. We have talked about mortgage rates up and down, both of them. We've been part of both the scenarios, right? There was a time when mortgage rates were very, very down, and we were talking about it. Now, the news is mortgage rates are quite a bit high, and they are touching 7%.
More than 7%.
More than 7% for
years high
yeah.
is 7% plus 7.03, 7.05. This is high.
Not even it goes higher than that. If
depending on
for
the
conventional
rate.
mortgage, if someone puts down less than 20% and
higher.
has just about level required credit, right?
Right.
Then you could be paying 7.25, 7.5, depends.
Yeah, absolutely. Depending on your credit history,
Yeah.
depending on the down payment,
Yeah.
depending on the size of the loan. It depends on various factors. But the interest rate for the mortgage is one of the highest rate that we have seen.
One of the highest mortgage rates?
Well, at least for last 22 years. They are saying.
22 years. That's what I was
Absolutely.
going to say. It's the highest in 22 years. Think about where were you 22 years ago?
Absolutely.
Why did you buy that house 22 years ago? That's how bad this has been. And the Fed is really scaring up people because Fed is giving hint they're going to increase not only in September, there might be, again, I'm just saying might be, and I'm just quoting them, there might be multiple rate increases to control inflation because next year is the election year.
And their target is to keep the inflation under 2% based on the next year's election, based on a lot of economic factors. So the only way they will do it, or the one way they do it, is to keep increasing the interest rate. I hope they don't really go out of their way to increase it by 0.5%. All indications are that interest rate will increase again in September by another 0.25%.
Okay, all right. I just want to let you know that we have to keep our show under the time limit.
Absolutely.
Also, that means it's time for us to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to have more business news stories for you in this show. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the second half of the Business Talk Show. In the second half, we usually bring you business stories from India or from the world. And then we also mix it up with sports like cricket or soccer or football. And of course, entertainment news. Entertainment news related to Bollywood and Hollywood. That's all we try to bring in right here in this Business Talk Show. Once again, the show is brought to you by SAI CPA Services, a complete accounting firm, can guide you, can assist you, not only with the tax returns, but in case if you're into IRS tax audit or need advice on what kind of corporation, company that you need to set up for business that you want to start, all of that things, all the valuable advices, they can help you out. SAI CPA Services. So do make one phone call, set up one appointment in person or in the office and get all the right advice, because that one advice, one meeting can help you a lot to move forward. So please do that. 908-380-6876 is the number. 908-380-6876. SAICPAServices.com is the website. And as far as I know, SAI CPA Services, there has never been a recall from SAI CPA Services, because whatever they do it perfect. There is never a recall. No client comes back and say, I want a recall. The reason I'm saying it because the Target is recalling candles.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Target is recalling this, special candles, at least because of this candle, they say one person got injured. So one injury, one complaint, and
yes, it seems like that. But you see, the lawsuit could be very high. So even though they are recalling $2.2 million worth of candles, and there have been multiple incidents, and you take a step back, when you have the candle inside a glass jar, it gets too hot sometimes. And if the glass jar breaks, and it happened at least 17, 18 times, that they know about.
Yeah, they got
And at
19
least one
reports.
person, there may be more that they don't know, or a lot of people don't come forward. At least one person got injured who complained. So it's better for a company, a publicly listed company like Target, to recall, and it's cheaper to recall $2 million worth of product as opposed to finding themselves in this
$100
lawsuit
million lawsuit.
where they knew the problem and they did not fix it.
Oh, really? They knew the problem.
Meaning, if you know the problem now, you still don't fix it, and couple of more cases happens, then consider a situation.
Well, obviously, when you have a candle in a glass jar, right, it's prone to happen because there are people who unknowingly going to touch it, move it here
Yeah,
and there.
well, it depends on the material of the glass as well, and how much wax you have, and how big is the candle. I mean, how bigger the light is.
And how effectively they put out warnings.
Of course.
You know, on the
Of course.
packages, on the candles
course.
and everything. Be very careful. Once you lit this up, you can't really touch it. Only after a candle is quiet, then you can touch
The
it.
new safer way of doing these candles, and it's not a candle show, but since we're talking about it, is to keep some space between the glass and the candle. Now they don't really have the candles where they have the full glass.
Correct.
They have candles separately and a candle holder where you can put the candle. As long as there is space between the wax and the glass, it wouldn't have the problem.
Okay, all right. So from candle, we move to hydro projects, and this time we bring you a story from India, and it's about Tata. Tata, one of the
Absolutely.
finest business conglomerate in the world.
So Tata is investing lot of money into a hydro projects. in
Lot of money,
Maharashtra.
13,000 crore.
So it's an amazing. You will see a lot of news. The reason we picked up this news, you see a lot of news in the market. This company is investing into electric power. Tata is investing into India. And I'll give you an example. There was this example that people used to talk about. The Tata son goes to the dad, hey, we are making less money than Ambani's, the Reliance guys. And Mr. Tata says, they are the businessman. They are in the market to make money. We are the industrialist. We are here to make India proud. We are here to take India to the next level. This is what we are talking about.
Yes,
so Tata is investing money into a hydro project in Maharashtra.
Alrighty, okay. So that is a Tata story. Now let's bring in a quickly sports story. Obviously, as you all know by now, that World Cup soccer for the women, and the US team is out. US team lost to Sweden a couple of days ago, so US team is knocked out. Had the US team made out, in this World Cup soccer, it would have been their third championship, and they really wanted it. That would have been a record, but unfortunately, they lost to Sweden. Talk about cricket, India versus West Indies. The series is going on now. Last two games going to be played in Florida. Yes, you heard it right here in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. That's where last T20 games going to be played. India won the Test series, and then India got the one-day series, and T20. They lost first two T20. We talked about it last week, but then this week they won third T20.
Absolutely.
And let's hope how they do in the next two games, the final games of T20 series in Fort Lauderdale. That remains to be seen.
Absolutely.
But they're actually experimenting because they're giving
And that's a good
young
thing.
players a chance to
Yep.
come and perform, and giving their veteran
There are
players
a lot of new
rest.
players. I mean,
Yes.
Surya Kumar did very nicely
Sure.
in the last game. We have the next two games. Hopefully, the fifth game will be the deciding game. Assuming fourth game India wins, they are this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So stay tuned. It's expected to be fun, and it's in US. It's right here.
All right. Now, this is the one suggestion I can give you, is that after watching this business talk show, what you should do, you should relax and go to a theater near you, because there are a couple of good movies. I'm just suggesting, not definitely implying that. Gadar 2, this is Sunny Deol's movie, has created such a hype. Sunny
Absolutely.
Deol, Amisha Patel, their Gadar original back in 90s was a super duper hit movie.
I think some of this hype is intentionally created by the movie makers. I mean, if you look at the hype,
Why not?
people are talking
Yes.
about Pakistan, people are talking about India. There are
No,
interviews
whatever India,
around.
Pakistan, Sunny Deol did a superb job in the first one.
Yeah.
So obviously Sunny Deol is one of the most reliable and fine
Absolutely.
actors we have,
Versatile
right?
actor.
And Gadar, original Gadar had a wonderful music. This one too. So Gadar 2 is worth to check out. The advanced booking in India, especially single screen. Usually multiplexes do well, but single screen, they have record advanced booking for this movie, Gadar.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's a good news. OMG, Oh My God, Part 2 is also releasing. That's Akshay Kumar and Pankaj Tripathi's movie. The original OMG had Akshay Kumar and Paresh Rawal in it. And this movie is all about a fight between a man and a god. And now OMG 2, let's see what kind of story that comes up with it, but that's also releasing this weekend. And now talk about Hollywood movie, Barbie, everybody. Absolutely. But before we go into Barbie, there's one more movie I want to talk about it. And this is Rajinikanth, Thalaiva's movie called Jailer. Usually the stars release their movie during holidays, right? But when Rajinikanth's movie releases, that day is a holiday.
That's the holiday.
In the multiple states, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, many companies have declared a day off. It's a holiday, Rajinikanth's movie. And many companies actually giving tickets to their employees to go to see this movie, Jailer. Jailer is the name of the movie, and the reviews are coming out good. Rajinikanth plays a double role in it, but it's amazing the craze that Rajinikanth has, especially in the southern belt. Absolutely. Is just amazing. He is such a great actor, man, and a great person.
Now, talking about the craze, talk about Barbie now.
Barbie, well, to talk about Barbie, I wish Ajay and I can sit here with the pink suits and pink shirt and a pink tie, because Barbie. Everything is pink, because movie is doing a pink business all over the world.
It's amazing.
$1 billion collected all over the world, right?
I couldn't even believe it. People are dressing up. A lot of women, a lot of girls are dressing up. For a $10 ticket in the movie, people are spending $100 to buy a Barbie dress just to go out to see the movie.
And the movie has created such an excitement that everyone, all ages of people are into it, You talk about footwear, you talk about books, pink color sneakers, pink color sweaters, the clothing, and everything else pink, because Barbie came in at the right time when also Hollywood film industry and the box office needed some kind of jump start, right? And the other movie is Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is also a great movie. The father of atomic bomb, and the movie is based on that Oppenheimer, and that's also a great movie to watch. So these are the recommendations that we can give you, because these are related to Business Talk, because these are making money, and whoever is the end beneficiary of this, movies, obviously movies are worth to see. So check them out. And but now listen. You watch the Business Talk news, then you go out and watch a movie, then you go to a restaurant. Somewhere along, I bet you tax is going to come up. So now Ajay is going to end up the show with the tax tip.
I just want to remind our viewers, especially if you own a business and you are giving the tickets to your employees as a gift.
You tax.
It's a taxable gift. If the gift value is more than $25, so don't confuse gift with a donation. Gift and donation are two different things. The gift limit from per person, not the employee, is $17,000 in 2023.
Wow.
The obligation to pay the gift tax remains with the giftor, the person who is giving the gift, not the person who is getting the money, not the person who is receiving the gift. So just be careful. We have a tax show, tax time.
There you go. All right, so there's the gift tax he talked about. For any tax matter or anything related to business taxes in matter, you can contact SAI CPA Services 908-380-6876. I am Sanjeev Pandya, signing off the show right now. Ajay, thank you so very much. Have a great week ahead. And until we meet again, same place, same time, so long, and have a happy tax-free days ahead.
Thank you.